Hi there, my friends call me Jules, and I want to thank you so much for joining me on the Jules for Jesus podcast, where we talk real life Christianity. Have you ever felt completely out of your depth? Like God was calling you into something you just weren't equipped for or had no idea how to handle? That was me, standing in a dusty rural town in the Northern Cape, dressed in what felt to be completely out of place power suit, facing a man whose life looked like it had already given up on him. I was there for a legal case, an assignment that deeply unsettled me. But on that day, I learned something life-changing. Sometimes your least favorite assignment turns out to be your most important mission. Maybe you've had your own version of that moment. Maybe for you, it's being asked to speak in public, or having to confront someone you love, or helping your child with a school project when you are already drowning in deadlines. Or perhaps for you, it's stepping into a leadership role when you feel totally unqualified. We've all got our "this is not what I signed up for" moments. The ones that stretch us, shake us, and make us want to run the other way. But what if those moments aren't accidents or inconveniences? What if they're assignments, sacred invitations into something bigger than we ever imagined? So whether you're in your car, doing dishes, or hiding from your to-do list, stick around. Let's see what happens when we stop running from the hard things and start asking, God, what do you want to do with this? You're listening to the Jules for Jesus podcast. I'm Jules, and this podcast is all about bringing faith into the challenges and beauty of real life. Whether you're walking through heartbreak, financial stress, rejection, or just feeling a little lost, I want you to know that you're not alone. I've been there too. This podcast is about honest conversations, real encouragement, and creating a community that seeks God together. My hope is that through my story, Jesus touches yours. So let's pause. Let's invite Jesus into this moment and take the next step forward together. This is Jules. Welcome to a safe space where you can come as you are, where you will not be judged, and where you and I can breathe, believe, and walk with Jesus. So let's dig in. If you're like me, after doing the same job for quite some time, you've probably found that there are aspects that you absolutely love, things you are really good at. And then there are those other parts. Well, let's just say you do them because you have to. Like they say, every job has its injuries. For those of you who don't know, I'm an attorney by profession. And strangely enough, I absolutely hate conflict, especially the kind that you get in arbitrations, which is similar to a court case. I don't do them often, but when I do, they drain me. I stress, I over-prepare, and it takes a toll. But my aversion to this type of work isn't just about nerves or workload. There's history. So years ago, I was involved in a case up against a seasoned legal team. I prepared like crazy, but during cross-examination, I lost my train of thought mid-question, totally blanked. And instead of pausing and recovering, I panicked. I pushed through, pretending I knew what I was doing. So I finished my question, except it wasn't a real question, and even I didn't know what I had said. So when I looked up, the opposing legal team was chuckling. And honestly, I understood. Even I would have laughed. But that moment sank deep into me. It planted a seed of insecurity that I've carried for years. So when earlier this year, I had to stand in for a colleague and do 2 cases in the Northern Cape, I was not impressed. I actually tried everything to get out of it. But eventually, I had no choice. and I dragged my heart along as I started preparing. These cases took over my life, changing witnesses, shifting documents, endless angles, and all the while I kept thinking, why me? Why now? This isn't what I signed up for. So to make matters worse, both cases were shaky. Our chances of success were low, but I had to do the best for my client. I kept trying to find something redeemable, build the strongest case I could, and tried to boost my confidence. I had to wrestle something good out of 2 losing battles. But something deeper weighed on me. How do I reconcile fighting for a case when the people on the other side had been, in my mind, treated unfairly? People who were now unemployed, some homeless, struggling to survive. And then the night before I left, I read 3 scriptures that brought me to a standstill. The first was Exodus 23. Do not deny justice to your poor people in their lawsuits. Have nothing to do with a false charge, and do not put an innocent or honest person to death, for I will not acquit the guilty, says God. And then came this, Leviticus 19. Do not pervert justice. Do not show partiality to the poor or favoritism to the great, but judge your neighbor fairly. And if that wasn't enough, Deuteronomy 1 verse 17. Do not show partiality in judging, ye are both small and great alike. Do not be afraid of anyone, for judgment belongs to God. Bring me any case too hard for you, and I will hear it. I mean, what do you even do with that? I knew God was speaking loudly. So that morning I prayed, Lord, you said I can bring you any case too hard for me. Well, here it is. Not just because it's out of my comfort zone, but because I know the people I'm up against were not treated fairly. Please show me what to do. So when I arrived, I saw the man I'd be opposing, and my heart dropped. I whispered, please God, not him. But it was him. Poverty clung to him like a second skin. He looked broken, sunburned, nervous, chain-smoking, mentally and physically distressed. And there I was, from the big city in my power suit. Then my only witness called. His daughter was sick and he wouldn't be coming. So I had no witness, and I thought to myself, perhaps this is how God will make me lose this case. Still, I knew I could win the case on cross-examination of this man only. The man wasn't trained. I could have torn his case apart. But my heart was heavy, and I found myself in this moral dilemma. A substitute witness then arrived, so the lack of a witness was not it, and I kept on praying. And then, after some time had passed and out of nowhere, the case took a turn. It was clear to me that God had taken over. He had made good on his promise to me that I could give him any case too hard for me and that he will hear it. We found a middle road, a settlement. Not money, something better. A clean record and a second chance for this man. The man came up to me afterwards and he said, I just want you to know I'm not a dishonest man. And it was only later on that I realized that his words actually resonated exactly with one of the Bible verses that I quoted earlier. Do not put an innocent or honest person to death. Remember? And then, whereas I wasn't really used to just talking to strangers about God, I heard myself telling him, God knows whether you are dishonest or not, but God gives us all a second chance, even more chances than we ever deserve. God's mercies are new every morning, and what you got today is worth much more than money. It's hope. It's a clean start. It's something that lasts. And isn't that just like God? He doesn't always give us what we think we need. He gives us what will endure. And that day, I understood why I had to be there, why it had to be me, why I read those scriptures, why I couldn't get out of it. I wasn't there just for an arbitration. I was there on a mission. And I want to ask you, are you willing to step out of your comfort zone so that God can use you too? Because if I hadn't been there, if I hadn't listened, that man may have walked away with nothing. But God had other plans. Sometimes we push back against the things that scare or stretch us, but often those very things carry God's greatest purpose. So how do we respond? Sometimes it's as simple as saying yes to something inconvenient, or choosing prayer over panic, or asking, God, what do you want me to learn here? It might mean forgiving someone who doesn't deserve it, volunteering when no one else will, sharing your story when you'd rather stay silent. Small steps, sacred steps, and often they are the start of something much bigger than we imagined. And guess what? That wasn't the end of my mission in the Northern Cape. I invite you to click on part 2, which I will drop next, because that same day, I was also meant to meet Iris from the Miracle Caves. And trust me, that meeting changed everything, for me and for her. As we wrap up, I want to thank you for spending time with me on Jules for Jesus. I hope you're encouraged, knowing that I'm just like you, navigating life's struggles with God's guidance. And perhaps, if you forgot, I want to tell you that Jesus loves you so much. And remember, even when life feels messy or uncertain, God is always at work, shaping something meaningful and good out of every moment. And hey, if something in today's episode spoke to you, if it reminded you of someone you love or care about, please share this episode with them. Let's not leave anyone behind. Let's not keep the good news to ourselves. Let's keep inviting others in so no one walks alone, and so our love for Jesus becomes something others can catch on to. Until next time, take good care of yourself. Keep seeking God in the little things and trust that He's got a purpose for your journey. This is Jules. You are not alone, and I'll be waiting right here for you when you click play on the next episode.